Hello YouTubers. Hey, welcome back to my channel, The Virginia Bushcrafter. If this is your first time here, this channel is about and will continue to be about learning and practicing the wonderful skills of bushcrafting, prepping, and survival for the wilderness. So guys, go ahead, hit that like button, leave a comment, share this video out, hit that hype, and subscribe if you have not done so. So I hope everyone is doing well. I thank you for taking some time out of your precious day to come and spend with the Virginia Bushcrafter. All right, guys. So what I want to ask you is, how does your knife or knives feel in your hand? Leave that in the comments. How does your knife feel in your hands? Well, I want to talk about a knife that I've used for maybe the last 2 or 3 years. As a matter of fact, I did a video maybe 3 or 4 days ago using this particular knife. Now, this knife is also used or can be used as a spear. So again, I'm focusing on how does your knife feel in your hand? Well, the knife that I'm speaking of is the cold Steel Bushman knife. Again, how does your knife feel in your hand? But let me just give you some specifications on this knife. Now, I've been using this knife on a walking staff, again, for maybe the last 2 or 3 years. But let me just give you the specs. The blade itself is 7 inches, and the overall length is 12 and a quarter. 12 and a quarter. Okay. The blade thickness is 2.5 millimeters, or if you convert that, 3/32 of an inch. That's the blade width. The steel is SK5 high carbon steel. SK5 high carbon steel, and it has a Rockwell hardness of 54. Now, I believe the highest the Rockwell hardness goes is 63, and that's dealing with tensile strength, back and forth. It says 54, but a lot of people have said this has to be at least 58 Rockwell hardness. It has a hollow handle. As you can see, you can put small survival gear in here. You can also put a stick on here to add length, or you can put a walking staff on it to use it as a spear and assist you in walking. And it weighs 9.8 ounces. And the blade geometry, of course, is a fixed blade, one piece of metal, a fixed blade, which is very strong and durable. And it comes with a sheath, a plastic sheath, that wears out after a while, but the sheet does come, it does come with a sheet. And it does come with a ferrocerium rod on the sheath. And I've shown this to you guys before. I've actually used it in the bush. But this is the ferrocerium rod. So again, the knife or spear itself, the sheath, and I've added a dangler and a fair sim rod. The cold steel Bushman knife. So again, I go back to, how does your knife feel in your hand? Well, I'm going to tell you some things that I've done to this knife already since removing it from the staff rod, walking staff, is that I did sharpen it. And remember, there's only 3 things that you can do to a blade, which is profile it or reprofile it, sharpen it, and strop it. So I sharpened it, which I removed very small amount of metal on the end, on the edge, and then I used a honing rod to stand the edges up. Something else I did is that I also increased or bettered the spine to a 90 degrees. Now, if you remember in the last video, I did use it to strike the fair sim rod, but when I went to create shavings, I turned the knife over on the opposite side and with the blade facing me, and it wasn't too great at making shavings. So what I learned from that is that whatever side you use to strike the fair sim rod, this is the same way that you're going to remove your shavings. Straight downward. Instead of flipping the knife forward with the blade facing me, in that manner, with this particular cutting tool, the same size, which for me is the left side of the blade, to create shavings. Very unique with this knife. Never had that issue. Really not an issue with any other cutting tool. So again, the same side that I used the fair sim rod to throw sparks will be the same side that I use to remove dust or shavings from wood or bark. I also added paracord to the grip. Added paracord to the grip. So I'm going to talk about that later. But again, I'm focusing on how does your knife feel in your hand. What's one of the first things that we do with our knife before we purchase a knife? We pick the knife up and we use certain motions. We want to see how it's going to slice and how it's going to chop and how it's going to split and how can we carve, how well it's going to carve. I know that's some of the things I do. I just automatically pick up the knife. I wanted my chopping motions. Slice, chop, split, pierce, and carve. So that's one of the first things I do, just seeing how this knife feels in my hand. And again, we always start looking at the geometry of the blade. At least I do. This one I noticed right away. It's a straight back. Straight back. Has a nice belly. It is a hollow grind, which is really good for slicing and carving. It has a hollow grind. We always look at the edge and see how sharp it is. We're always, at least I do, want to know how the sharpness of the knife, of the blade. So this is fairly sharp. Again, I did sharpen it today. But this all started out with how does this knife feel in my hand? So again, looking at the geometry, let's see, straight back, nice belly. It's a hollow grind, which is great for slicing and carving. Again, full chain, one piece of metal that's very durable. And then we are always, at least I do, I look at how I can grip the knife, because before you can actually efficiently use a knife or a cutting tool, for me, it must feel good in my hand. Both hands. It must feel good in both hands. So with the contour of this handle, which is all circular, there's no specified contour, but it's just roundness. So in a way that's good, because I don't have to use a lanyard on this particular knife, because I will, by using the pinch grip, if the knife does decide to go forward, it can't, because of the grip that I'm using, the pinch grip. It can't, or if I'm using my middle finger. But with this knife, I think what will work best is the pinch grip. Also, when I did have a lanyard on this knife, I could not use it the traditional way that I was used to, because when I use the lanyard and grip this, the knife should be at a 90-degree angle, but for some reason it was always more or less like at a 85-degree, and I would have to rotate it in. But that's just because the style of this knife. And this all has to do with how it feels in my hand. So again, I made some modifications. I added paracord, at least 6 feet of paracord. I will always have paracord if needed. I use some Gorilla Tape. I will always have tinder if needed. And I would have a durable, I have a durable knife right here. So again, guys, this is the cold steel Bushman knife. I'm taking it into the bush this weekend. I hope you guys join me. And I'm really looking forward to really testing this thing out in the bush. Also, when gripping the knife, this particular knife, I don't think for me, it doesn't work as well by using the hammer grip. As you can see, using the hammer grip. This knife, for me, will always feel better using the saber grip with my thumb on the back. Hammer grip, saber grip. I think I will always use this knife in that manner. If I'm using a pinch grip, there's no need to use a saber grip or the hammer grip. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I think on a scale of 10, I give this knife an 8, because I am more so inclined to reinsert the staff, because I think this knife itself will be better utilized as a spear. And I say that because of the handle. It doesn't feel 100% to me, but you have to keep in mind the type of handle that is on here. So guys, hey, let me know what you think. Should this go back onto a walking staff and be used as a spear and a walking staff, or just a knife? Even on the walking staff, I still can carve with it. I still construct the ferrocerium rod. There are advantages with the walking staff. 7 feet of reach. Great for defensive against four-legged predators at night if warranted. So, but all in all, I mean, I'm satisfied with it, even if I did not put it back on the walking staff. But I'm pretty sure I'm really inclined just to do that. So guys, let me know in the comments your suggestions. And join me this weekend in the bush where I will be using extensively the cold steel Bushman knife. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the bush. Take care. This is the Virginia Bushcrafter.